So Demon School Iruma is going to be going out with a bang for sure over the last few episodes. So this episode we get the after party with the Harvest Festival. Obviously our boys ranking up to where they need to be given that they did win the whole thing. But honestly, seeing the class in general do fairly well given the different strategies, the different things that they did. Obviously not everyone got promoted in some ways, like some just had to stick with where they were at. But I mean, this was a very satisfying episode for that, but I'm glad that they're still keeping the focus based on Coco, because we know Coco was manipulated. Now, I was under the assumption that he would still remember that he was working with someone, but the fact that he comes out of this thinking like, no, like, hell, I honestly think there was someone there, but I don't remember, and everyone he talks to says, no, it looked like you were working alone. Based on the preview, it seems like that is going to be a focus to kind of clear up why this man not only went out of his way to manipulate Coco, erase his presence from ever being there, but most importantly why he was so determined to help him rank up and would go to such extreme lengths that Coco himself never wanted to do. So anyone mad at some of the actions that happened in the Harvest Festival, I mean, at this point, you have to admit he had nothing to do with that. Like, he never wanted to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see where they take him, because honestly, you go character like Coco, you think you don't like him, think you're gonna hate him the whole time, and then he becomes one of the best boys in the series. So honestly, the remaining episodes of the season look like they're gonna be rather exciting. But this was kind of like the perfect de-stressor, right? It was one of those episodes where you sit back, you relax, you have a grin on your face, and to see all the characters and their different reactions, but most importantly, feel like a majority got rewarded for their hard work. I mean, there's obviously certain cases, in the case of, well, if you punch a student and you knock someone out, you're obviously going to get disqualified, and our boy promoted, he would have even been above Irma, but I love how Teach is just like, you know, he seems like he's happy where he is, so I'm just not even going to bother anymore, because wherever Irma is, that's where they all want to be. But it was nice to just see like the different ideas, like the fact that, hey, you built a giant castle that prevented more students from being eliminated than ever before. Why wouldn't we promote you for doing that? You literally saved the day. Or our girl who literally had an army of monsters, or animals I should say, unlike anything they've ever seen. It felt like rather than just saying, okay, if you don't get first place, you get nothing. Like, yes, you can maybe make the argument, oh, it's kind of like the participation ribbon, but when you look at what all these characters did, I mean, yeah, give the first dozen or so people a little bit of reward. Obviously, not everyone's going to jump up the same amount, given if based on where they were at in terms of if were they 5th place, were they 11th place, right? But the different ideas of rewarding their behavior to encourage different playstyles, right? Because this is something that happens a lot. Every year they're going to have a Harvest Festival or different challenges. And if you make it seem like the only way you get rewarded is by being number one, you're not really going to have many characters thinking outside the box. They're going to be greedy. They're going to just go for, okay, well, we need to get the Legend Leaf. That's the only way we'll ever win. No, it's about do what you think is going to flex your skills the most, and even if you don't get number one, there's a potential that you will still be rewarded. I think that's what's nice about this, right, is it does make it feel like there's lessons to be learned, and that the next generation who attempts it, they can reflect on what other characters have done, rather than just saying there's only one way to do it. But it does feel like still, we were rewarded for that Legend Leaf, and I said it last week, had Coco remained in first place the whole time, it would have been a harder pill to swallow for people, because literally 120,000 points and you didn't get first place, that would have felt like a slap to the face. So by giving him first place but then dropping him because of the extra points they didn't calculate, it makes everything line up in a way that feels satisfying. And given that this season seriously wants to touch upon the whole memory wipe and what this man was doing the whole time, why didn't he just use Coco for his own benefit? There's a lot of things we don't know, and that should be explored in the near future, which has me excited. I think it just feels like one of those situations where you could have ended this in a way and said this could have been the season finale, but no, there's still more Demon School to come, and honestly, the manga is just such a ridiculous manga chapter count out there that we're just going to keep having 2 cours without worrying about catching up to the series anytime soon. But this was a fantastic episode. It was heartwarming, it was goofy. I mean, Irma had a bit of an ego, it kind of felt like, and I was really happy to see that. So when he's sitting on his throne, and we see Teach turn into that little fuzzball bird, and he's like, well, people wanted to see it, and I couldn't say no. There is a level of arrogance and confidence in that boy, and I like the fact that when both him and Lita are sitting on their thrones and everyone's swarming around, you see R2 just kind of standing there, and I'm thinking to myself similarly, like, why is there more people up here? There's only 2 winners, But he's like, you know what, I realize in the moment I can't be without these people. And it just, I don't know, it kind of felt like, and once again, Iruma finds a way to make friendship work in this show. A big reason is the fact that we have characters that are supposed to be demonic, and the fact that they use that as like a juxtaposition to encourage character development and different character pairings, of course, is nice. But it also just feels like it's heartwarming, it's hilarious, and you love to see what they're able to do with this cast dynamic. And for literally just announcing the winners, announcing ranks, and having a small little after party, it was a very wholesome and enjoyable episode that let us finally let out that kind of felt like we were tense for a while, not knowing who's about to win. And when we thought we knew, things would get stolen or characters would be brainwashed, and it just wasn't looking good. And honestly, the Harvest Festival, even though it can be summed down to picking vegetables, picking fruit, hunting animals, or collecting a potted plant, at the end of the day, these characters were going through some emotional trauma, and it's nice to see where they all ended up by the end of this, and seeing the Misfit class be treated in a way that just, when you compare the earlier content of the show, it really felt like we'd never see this, and if it did, it would be seasons upon seasons down the line. But the pacing of the show is very spot on. It feels like there's a constant string of progression. They want to make sure the Misfit class as a whole is represented rather than it just being the Iruma show, and in doing so you get one of the stronger school series that has ever been made in the anime medium. We've seen a ton of Demon School series. There's usually at least one per season, whether they're parroting or they're being dead-ass serious. At the end of the day, we see a lot of shows with characters in a demonic school activity situation, and if not, it's at least there every other season. But Demon School just has a charm about it that it does have that Saturday morning vibe of just kicking back and enjoying some ridiculous shenanigans, but at the same time, there's actual character progression, there's story arcs being told, and even if we assume we know the end goal of Iruma being the Demon King at the end of this show's run, it's all about the journey of getting there and seeing how he could become it, and if they want to throw a plot twist and he doesn't, I mean, that's fine, that's well and good. But it just feels like the show knows what it's doing, and it honestly gets better with each season, which is saying a lot given how strong its first season actually was. I have seen a lot of people say that the next arc coming up is actually their personal favorite out of the batch of content that is going to be adapted over the past few seasons here, so that has me excited because the Harvest Festival is definitely my personal favorite of what I've seen, but I know there is a lot of upcoming stuff that I've just heard referenced name of. I don't know specifics, I just know certain names when they pop up, so that has me excited. Very good episode, very kind of like almost decompress, let out that breath, being like, okay, we're tense for a while, now we get to relax and chillax, and honestly, it just felt like we were proud of where the characters have come, and I'm glad to see Coco seemingly isn't being shelved, but rather he still has that mystery about him, and hopefully maybe someday, if he even doesn't join the Misfit class, just let him be a part of the crew, because I really like his character. But thoughts and feelings yourself down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, be sure to ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel, and I got my Patreon where I got a bunch of full live reactions going on, and of course you can also get video shoutouts like a few are about to get here. So today we got Chloe, Samuel Valdez, and Irenaeus, so I appreciate the support everyone. Please take care and have a good one.